years have you been doing the Postcard Fest?
I've been doing this year. This will be my 6th year. This was my 6th year.
Did you find out from Tim Mateer?
Did I find out what?
About the Postcard Fest?
The Postcard Poetry Fest? I don't think so. I think somebody, I must have seen it on Facebook or somebody mentioned it. And I went and looked it up and found it.
And what was it about the fest that attracted you in the first place?
So the first year I did it was, I think, just looking for a way to keep me in the practice and do it every single day. And that was a good way to do it, and you know, try to focus, and also the simplicity of trying to keep it short on the back of a card, that too.
How does POPO augment your own poetry composition practice?
It keeps me focused, and I keep doing it, and I do it every single day, and I keep writing. And every time I've done the fest, every year, I've gotten to where I can write these poems now, and they just come to me, whereas before I used to struggle quite a bit. I didn't know what to write, I didn't know how to do it or go about it. And now I concentrate on a theme. I try to do a theme each year. So that also helps.
Tell us about how you actually sit down and write a poem. So you have a theme picked out for any given August. You sit down at your desk, and you have your list and you have your stamps. Take us through the whole process of writing a postcard poem.
Well, what I do is I, like I said, I pick a theme. So my theme this year was Van Gogh at our Houston Museum of Fine Arts. I went to that, and I found the book of postcards from his paintings. And so I just came home, I looked at the postcard, I looked at his paintings, and I just sat down and I just started imagining in the painting, and I just would start writing and picking the images. So I wrote in the voice of Van Gogh, I wrote from my own personal perspectives of his artwork and sent them out. And then I also do, I like to do bonus cards. So again, I do pick a card, I look at the little by hand. I write all my poetry writing. That's what I do.
How many cards did you send out last year?
This past August, I sent out 32 cards, plus some bonus ones. So in total, about 50 cards.
That's quite a few. As 18 is quite a few bonus cards, if you ask me.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about the cards you've gotten. Tell us about going to the mailbox and getting cards. You know, that part of the fest, and what that's like for you.
Oh, it's exciting. I'm like a little kid at Christmas, opening presents every single day. I'll go to the post appointed, or I'll ask I've gotten 5 in a day. That's really exciting. So yeah, and like I said, I keep them all.
Aside from the fact that it keeps your hand in the poetry composition practice, tell us other things about the fest that you like about it.
I like communicating with people. I like the connections I've made. We connect through Facebook. I've gotten friendship requests from people in the fest and through the page, and I like seeing what other people are doing, how they're also pursuing their poetry in their own communities. I like reading about what they've done and how they pursue their craft. I like reading other people's poetry perspectives, and so I'm always excited to see what else is going on out there in the world. And I like getting cards from the international poets. Those are always great. Because of your Postcard Poetry Fest, I was inspired to teach a postcard poetry workshop. And I did that for the Valley International Poetry Festival that I was a part of down in the Valley, in McAllen, Texas. And so I taught a workshop on how to compose and write postcard poems and sent them out. And
How was that received?
People like that. So it was well received. People had never really considered it. They never thought about it, that you could do that. And I looked up the history of postcards, when they started, how they came about, going back to like the early 20th century. So I had a whole packet that I did. And people liked it. They did. And I talk it up quite a bit with my poetry friends here in Houston and try to get people to sign up. And so when I see somebody's name that I know from Houston, I'm like, oh, cool, you're in the fest? Yes, I am. And we exchange postcards with each other.
All right.
So,
What, if you were running a fest, what would you change about it?
If I was running the fest, I don't think I would change anything about it. I think it's being run pretty well.
I must have a skewed sample because everybody's saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it as a compliment. Tell us are there any poetry communities you haven't yet told about the fest, or who should know about the fest?
Let's see. No, I talk it up every time I go to any of my poetry readings. Like when I've been presenting, like this past November, I was one of the featured readers at our public poetry library series here in Houston. And I read my Van Gogh poems and showed them, and I told them, how I came about doing it with the Postcard Poetry Fest. So pretty much everybody who knows me now knows that I participate in the Postcard Poetry Fest. Some of my friends are like, oh, okay, I mean to do it. I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do it. I'm like, yes, do it. It's a lot of fun. And you get all these postcards, and it's great. And now what I do is that whenever I travel, actually, I mail postcards to myself. I got that idea, I think, from somebody that posted it on the August Postcard Poetry Fest. Wherever you travel, just send a postcard to yourself every day, which is what I did. And I used to do that actually, but even before, when I was younger, I would mail postcards to myself. So I've mailed postcards to myself from Mexico and from New York, from the Gulf Coast. So, yeah.
¿Habla español?
Sí. Fluent.
Yeah. What about the Facebook page? Is that a net plus or net minus for the Postcard Fest?
I think it's a plus. Like I said, it keeps us focused. I mean, not focused, but what I mean to say is it keeps us connected so we can see what's going on throughout the whole year. Because I know a lot of people, they would talk about, well, the postcard poetry, it's over. What do we do now? And we feel kind of lost. And in order to kind of keep up the practice and, find our next project, I was like looking around going, what's my next project? What's my next project? What am I going to do? It keeps, I think people just like, and gives you ideas, especially if maybe this is an idea of where to submit your postcard poems. This is a place where you can go and read other people's postcard. And then, you all launch that anthology, which is really a great thing. I like that. I hope that comes out again.
Yeah, I'd like to do another anthology for sure. Do you have a postcard poem of yours you'd like to share?
I do. One of the ones that I wrote here, let me see if I can pull it up. It's for one of the Van Gogh let me see. Let me try to do it too. An error, and my ear is already dying. A mournful red plea for mercy spreads across my face and neck. I thought I should paint the ear one last time, pay it tribute, display its sorrow before its executioner flicks open his razor.
I had a feeling there was going to be an ear poem.
It's one of my favorites that I wrote this summer.
Far out. Well, I'm
well received.
I'm really grateful for your time today and for your inspired participation and your POPO evangelism. And thanks for agreeing to do this short interview.
Well, of course. Thank you. This was great. I am looking forward to next year's fest. I'll have to come up with a theme for next year too.
Hasta pronto.
Hasta pronto. Adios.